Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. It is 11 o'clock. Second video of the week. Back to doing a regular scheduled program, 2 videos. I'm going to try to jump into a couple aspects of how I've been trading and what to look forward to next week. Obviously, first and foremost, the backdrop of the market is definitely the war in Iran, oil prices, Fed meeting coming up. And that kind of gives you the backdrop of what we've got going on right now. I'm going to go first and just jump into it. The market opened up green today. It was up. As you can see, it's a drop down, and it's dropped in the last 10, 15 minutes while I've actually been trading the market. Basically, this stemmed from a comment from the Italian ministry. It denied a report that Italy and Iran were working towards reopening the Hormuz Strait. That's where oil passes through. It has a large effect on everything. Apparently that was false, hence the drip drop in the market, which this is a very large news-driven market at the moment. Where you have your eye on here is crude oil. Oil is the largest mover in the market. We're going to have headlines up and down. I happen to think that it is my position that when this rips up, I think you could buy certain things in the market. So whether that's ETFs, essentially the market will dip down. As oil goes up, the market's going to dip down. This is not sustainable. It could continue for a couple more weeks depending on the situation in Iran. However, this isn't going to last. If history is any indicator, this won't last. And oil has never been sustainable at these prices. Could it go on for a couple of weeks if the war continues? No doubt. Long term, this isn't going to add. And I think this is such a news-driven up and down market that you're going to get relief, you're going to get bad news. You're going to get relief, you're going to get bad news. And I mean, if you're somebody that doesn't mind trading quickly, I would go ahead and take advantage. I might say, let's carve out a low today. If you're in the mood to trade something today, I'd carve out a low and I would probably find something to buy that works for you and probably sell it on the rip. It's only what I'm doing. I have the benefit of day trading a little bit, so I take advantage of that. So let's go into the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ is not green. It showed green on there. So we are at support levels right now at the 200. So again, I've talked about we've been in this trading range, and that has been the most important component. Where the cursor is, you see this trading range, the low that was set in November, December time right there. We have not broken that low, and we have not broken the high. We're still in this trade range, so overly not incredibly negative, not productive. What I'm looking for under the hood is rotation. I want to see other segments or sectors participate. Furthermore, I want to see strength in the past leaders. And the leaders we know have been memory stocks, SanDisk, Micron, Seagate. We've seen Lumentus. We've seen fiber optic stocks. And you always want to see these leaders because these leaders will drag the market up or down. So with that said, we're looking like we're back in the green. If that's true, I got to go back to the main screen, but we're finding support here. So, if you're an active trader, this is a support level, risk reward, good. I'm not, as I've said, I'm basically on yellow. I'm momentarily very, very small amount exposed to the overall market in my trading accounts. Doesn't mean that I'm not taking day trades. I'm just not overly exposed. With that said, Bitcoin. I mentioned on the video maybe 2 weeks ago when we were at 65, I've texted a couple of people. I said, I think Bitcoin is going to carve out a temporary low, and I would anticipate a bit of a dead cat bounce for March and April. My thesis, so to say, is that, which so far has held true. I talked about this, I want to say 2 weeks ago. I took a pretty large swing trade at 65 on spot. My thesis is we're going to be in this area. Now, I don't have my other indicators up, but there's a large volume zone. I think the number that I had it at, which was the resistance point, if I'm not mistaken, was like 85, 86. My anticipation is we're going to rip up into the 80s. I do feel strongly about that. I think we're going to see 80. I think we're going to see 80, anywhere between 83 and 87. And then I think we're going to see a downward drip, and I think we're going to carve out a low between 40 and 50. I know it's my theory. Doesn't mean I'm selling my long-term Bitcoin, but definitely in the 80s once targets are met on my trades. I'm up on my trade. I mean, I bought a decent position at 65. I'm up on that trade. I suggested to a couple people to buy IBIT. You're really looking to take out this 74 number here. That's if you really, really think this is shaping up to be a short-term trade. And so far, so good. Okay. Wow. Market just keeps dripping down on the news, and it just, inflation. Yeah. News. Sorry. Checking the news. All right. Gold. So gold has kind of the last two sessions has come down quite a bit in trading. I still believe we're going to see 6,000 an ounce. I don't know if this is a nothing burger. I would say two different strategies. If you're trading gold, I would look for a support level at the 50. If you're investing in gold, I don't think it's a bad time to buy. Not financial advice, rather for educational purposes. Okay? All right, let's jump into stocks. Okay, I'm going to give you what I am holding and what I have on my watch list. I bought TTD, which is the trade desk. I mentioned this on my video. Sorry, I shouldn't have that indicator up. I was using it. So anyways, I bought Trade Desk on really this more than anything was the CEO and president's purchases about a week and a half ago. Furthermore, I think the bottom is in. The earnings were pretty good. I don't like this volume here. Again, you could see the volume, right? Like that, this was an up and then finished down. Don't love that. But however, these days that it's dripped down has been on lower volume, which I think is drying out. Today it's up 1.7%. So really nothing much. I'm probably right around green or even. So this is a trade I'm in. Okay. Intuit. I also bought Intuit. This is the second time I've traded that this year. I bought on the earnings move here. I sold here. So a pretty good trade. And then I bought here and I'm down about 4%. So far, not a great trade. First time was good. I do have an 8% stop loss, so I'm 4% there. I think my stop loss is right underneath that 21 support level. I think I correlated it to that. So here nor there, I'm still in that trade. Micron, probably my favorite position at the moment that I'm in. I think this is probably the best looking chart in the market. This is the third time I'm trading this since last year. I did buy somewhere around here. I bought this in my IRA, and I replaced something in Robinhood. I replaced Robinhood in my IRA with this. I also have this in my trading account. This is really shaping out to be a nice like double bottom pattern. I really like the volume dry out and then the rise. I think this is actionable. I mean, this is probably to me, the best looking chart in this ugly market. If you're going to buy something, I think, again, not financial advice, but educational purposes, that's that. The opposing side would be SanDisk. Again, very similar charts. I don't own SanDisk. I don't think you can go wrong buying SanDisk. A little bit more volatile. Micron, going back to it, is a little bit more stable, lower beta. And furthermore, their earnings are absurd. I mean, I read an article about their profit margin yesterday, and I had to like double, triple check it because I thought it was crazy. I was like, there's no way they're making more profit than like Tesla and other companies. And I was like, this can't be accurate. Turns out in my research that it actually was accurate. However, their earnings are next week. So keep that in mind. That is an event that could move the stock. I mean, green on my trade right now, not by much. I'm going to evaluate that as I get closer to earnings. It is my belief. I think the stock's going to pop on earnings, so I very well might let that ride. Okay. What else am I in? I am still in IMNM. I don't know where I'm at on this. Probably somewhere around 1% up or down, give or take. This has got a pretty wide stop loss. I think I'm at like 10% stop loss on this. This was going to be like my biotech play for 2026. It has done nothing really. I mean, I think I bought it in this area. So I did have one trade here that worked out to success. I think this is going to do good this year. I just think the market has to cooperate. And yeah, The market is not cooperating. I am still in open. Still in open. This is not a tradable stock, but look at this ledge though. Like, if I want to point this out though, for most people that don't understand, this is very constructive action here though. Granted, you hate that you bought it probably in this area and you're probably down 20-25%. This is tight trading and correlating moving averages. I mean, I would float the idea that if you don't own this, it's worth having a little piece in this. I think this is going to really do good. I just think it's one of those that's going to push people out because of the lack of movement, either up or down. The shorts, the thing that I guess I'm optimistic about is the short float, and I just don't think the shorts can push this thing down anymore. I think that's it. I think it has made its low, and I'm optimistic. Again, Vanguard continues to increase their position. That's a pretty good indication. I heard rumors that the CEO plans to buy more stock. I still own it. As you can see, I don't own a ton of other things. That's it. That's all I own at the moment. Anything else I have not mentioned on this video, I've either been stopped out of or I sold. I do trade at the moment. You see this here? Any moment you get a headline that takes you down, if you're day trading or you have a little bit of an aggressive form of wanting to have some action, I personally have a little bit of action in today's market, both up and down. But this is a headline-driven market, and these rips up are sold, and these drop downs are bought. And if you're astute to understanding that, and you could pick one stock or one ETF that you really like, you could make a little bit of money and you don't have to go crazy on it. I'm not advocating for that. But anyways, I digress. I'm going to go into the ones that I think you need to look at and consider. So here's a couple names that I have not bought yet, but I would like to buy. Webull has been slaughtered. I mean, this was going back. I mean, what was this thing at an IPO base? Over $80. Absurd. 18, now down to $5. Now, prior price is no indication of future price. I think this is undervalued. This is my thesis. This is undervalued, and I'm going to stash it and buy it. I'm not going to go huge, and I'm not buying this to trade it. I'm going to buy some of this, and I'm going to buy it as a kind of a peak to return some profits, right? I was looking at their balance sheet in comparison to Robinhood, which Webull and granted, Robinhood is a much more superior company. But this is trading at a forward earnings or forward multiple it's amazing, right? And then I go back to Bull and I'm like, why are they being discounted so much? Granted, they're no Robinhood, but this is not a $5 stock. I mean, this is not a $5 stock. This is a $10 stock. Anyways, I'm buying it. Do what you must. Another interesting name, an oldie but a goldie for people that traded during COVID. This either made or broke you back in the day. Personally, I had a couple good trades. It was one of my worst losses in COVID. I think I had like 2 great trades on this, and I kept going back to the well. And I remember buying it about a week before earnings and just got absolutely killed on this. I think I got stopped out. I got murdered. So anyways, look at this action, their earnings. I mean, like, this is not, and again, I want to illustrate something here. Like, when you see these days where people get scared, they're like, I can't buy this. Look at this. It's up 20% or 30% in a day. Look at the volume on this move. For God's sakes, look at the correlation on the volume. That is a move not to be, ignored. And then again, another up day here. And then your down day is lower volume. So smaller volume on this. Again, look here, right here. And then you see the volumes drying out. And then look at that bar. Still, like, this move, this is something. This is an earnings move gapper, which you have to put this on your watch list. I admittedly did call options on this earlier this week for maybe a 10-minute trade. I had a decent trade on it. I don't point it out. Swing trade wise, here's my opinion. I think you could buy this. Not financial advice. Again, I'm just telling you, I think it can be purchased. I would rather see it come back to the 5 and then bounce off support, but it's riding that trend. Keep an eye on the volume. The RSI is absurd. It's a market leader. And in today's market, you've got to want to own some movers like that, some movers and some shakers. All right. The VIX is spiking, of course. Jesus. So the VIX is up. This is the volatility index. Let me point that out. I'm pointing out the futures of the VIX, but anyways. So there's a volatility index. It's increasing volatility. Sometimes great, sometimes not that good. Anyways, okay. Bitcoin. You know my plays. You know what we got. Hopefully this video serves you with some value. Be nimble. Flexibility, your best ability, all the cliches, whatever. Do not just jump headfirst into anything. Do your due diligence, but understand we are in a news-driven market. It's undoubtable. So keep your eye on the prize. Have a great weekend, everybody. Set your stop losses.